Good morning. Welcome to the On Demand Mastermind. And we're getting ready to have a very productive day because here's the thing. Today, we're going to talk about how do we release those emotional triggers. So I have an honesty moment with you right now. And the honesty moment with you, good morning, Anne. The honesty moment that I would like to have with you right now is, what is your emotional trigger? Like, what do you do when you get emotionally triggered? Are you someone who goes to the fridge? I like to use the fridge because that's one my husband and I battle with. My husband actually eats when he's excited, and I eat when I am not feeling like I'm feeling nervous about something. What do any of you guys, are you a nervous eater or are you excited eater like my husband? Like, he literally eats when he gets excited. And he also goes to the bathroom. Don't tell him that I told you that. Too much information and way too personal. You know, my husband said to me, he said, when we got married, he said, is there anything personal between us? Or are you going to share all of the stuff that happens behind closed doors? I'm like, well, darling, if it's going to help the world, then we should share it, don't you think? Don't you think that would be the humanitarian thing to do, the compassionate thing to do? And so my husband started to learn to say to me, he would say, Shanda, this is one of the things I don't want you to share with anybody, okay? So that's my life as a married woman. All right, you guys. So this week has been a lot about leadership on our on-demand masterminds, on our lives online. We've been just really talking a lot about your leadership. And the reason for that is we've spent a few months, really a good 4 or 5 months, talking very heavily on tactics. Right? Like, here's what you do to sell something. Here's what you do to blank, right? And we've spent a lot of time on tactics. And what I find is that if the driver, which is you and your leadership, if the driver is not locked in to commitment, which then gives birth to urgency, then the whole thing falls apart, right? And so I wanted to start with emotional triggers, but I'm actually going to embed it in a tactic. Okay, so we're gonna do both. And the tactic is being resourceful to actually find people that you can help and make an offer today. And so I'm going to give you a true story here for a second. So I had a client that reached out to me and she asked me for a strategy. I gave her a strategy. And then she said, well, how, first of all, she's selling some backstory. She's selling something that works. I sell something that works. Right? Like, she's selling something that works, this person who reached out to me. And I said, okay, you just need to double down on that. All your funnels are working, or your funnel's working. Your offer's working. People are buying from you. You just need more people. How many guys are in a situation where you just need more people? Right? It's like, maybe you got a great product. You know how to talk about it, and you just need more people. Put people in the chat. Put the word people in the chat if you just need more people. The power of that is I can go back and look at the survey. And honestly, if you want better content from me, then the truth is you're responsible for it. And so you've got to answer some of these trigger words so that I can look, and actually I'm doing a survey essentially. And my survey helps you because I produce more information. Okay, that's valuable to you, that's relevant to you. Okay, so you guys who need more people, this was the situation that this woman was in. So then I get a message back from her, no kidding, a week later. Okay, so she asked me for the strategy. I give it to her. A week later, she comes back and she gets back to me and she goes, well, how do you suggest I reach more people? And I'm being really serious with you, and I'm probably going to swear or something. So if you have a kid, like, maybe just shoo him into the other room for a minute, but because I still haven't been able to class it up like Joel Osteen when I kind of get a little mad about some things. But I'm getting mad because I spend 15 hours a month going live. And I honestly teach it all. Like, I teach it all. Like, people hire us to hold them accountable, to do the steps, but I teach it all. People are always, they want the how. I teach it all. I mean, if you go back and binge watch my lives on YouTube or Facebook, the Shanda On Demands, if you go back and binge them, there is just absolutely no way that you shouldn't at least have increased your revenue to $10,000 a month, at least. And if that's not happening, then you've got to hit the surrender mark and say, what is going on with me? Because the how has been there, right? And we pray for it. We get down on our hands and knees, please, please give me a way. I'm like, the way, if it has to do with building businesses, has been there. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this person who messaged me. So a week later, she messaged me, how do you propose that I actually reach more people? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, let's think about that for a second. First of all, I wasn't a jerk to her. So I want to tell you that you're safe to ask me questions, but I'm kind of rattling your cage a little bit because I'm like, whether it's my sales team or this woman, or I'm just like, for gosh sakes, like have a little hunger here. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm really transparent. We literally we had a setting in our CRM system, which is where we keep our leads, our subscribers. We had a setting that said if somebody didn't open up an email within 3 days, that they would become what's called unmarketable. Because that's a little bit of a problem for me, right? Like a huge problem for me, a huge problem in the tune of 300,000 people that I couldn't reach all of a sudden. Okay, like hello, like there's people having big problems just like you. But do you think I just sat there and said, well, I'm going to give up on my business. I'm not going to focus on Zone Event. I'm not going to focus on, helping people. I'm not going to focus on enrollment to Mentor Me Live. I'm not going to focus on leadership. No, I can't do that. And neither can you, right? You got to get resourceful. And when you get resourceful, you become the best. Okay. You become the best. Like people always say, like, I'm going to take my sales team for a second. It's like if you come into Hardcore and you don't crush it, that's not a me thing. It's a you thing, right? Because it's like, shit, there's so many people who follow us online all the time. But the resourceful, I don't feel like working like that. Well, then guess what? Even if I fed you leads, you wouldn't succeed. You just wouldn't. Because responsibility to success comes with the hustle. Are you guys hearing me? Say yes if you are. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my client. Same thing. By the way, I'm not reaping on my sales team. I'm just sharing these things because it drives me effing crazy to listen to how many people have a reason why they can't succeed. It drives me crazy because I'm like, for gosh sakes, like when did we become such a lazy culture that literally, you know what your outside world represents? Your internal thoughts, right? So I got 300,000 people I can't reach. I'm like, we still have to, the show must go on. And so this has been 6 months in my company like this. 6 months. You want to talk about a spiritual attack. But yet we still have succeeded anyway. And so I said to this woman who reached out to me, I said, why don't you reach out to 50 meetup groups today and find out if she does, helps you like raise capital. Right? She helps you raise capital for your business or real estate or whatever it is that you want. And she's good at it. And I'm like, why don't you reach out to meetup groups? First of all, it's taken you a week to answer my response. And she pays me $60,000 a year. I'm like, you got a freaking urgency problem. Do you know what I mean? Like this is what I see. I said this two days ago, I talked about this lack of urgency. I see it everywhere. And people are working so freaking hard on things that they know that like the weeds. They're focused on the weeds, right? If I brought Krista, my executive assistant up here right now, do you know what I told her this morning? Do not book me an appointment for all of January and all of February. I want no appointments for 60 days. Why? Because I'm going to work. I'm going to hustle. I'm gonna do the things that produce the long-term results. So like for my client, I'm like, go reach out to meetup. Every single one of you guys could reach out to 50 meetup groups in your industry right now. And whether or not you were scared to speak or you didn't know what to say or you've never created a piece of content before, when are you gonna do it? Like, I mean this with love, but it's just like, for God's sakes, like I could do webinars and make a ton of money. But I'm going live right now, and my legacy is you taking action, right? Like who my son is going to remember I am is you taking action. And the stories that pile in this company of people who are successful or people who heal their health because of the people in my network or the people who get into real estate deals that actually produce results because of the network of friends that I've taken time to be around. Do you know what I did this morning? I booked 10 appointments. And out of those 10, I confirmed 3 joint venture partnerships. I wrote this down this morning. I was like, what have I done today? I've set up 10 partnerships. 3 of them are confirmed with dates and all of that. I've made toast. Telling you the things I've done. I made toast. I've gone to the coffee shop and grabbed a latte. I've had a meeting with my controller, who's on the East Coast. I've talked to my marketing CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, who's on the West Coast. I set up a bank wire. I got on some messaging I'm basically organizing my jet going back to Puerto Rico, making sure all maintenance is done and all the stuff like that. So we're safe on our jet. Yeah, that's what I've done this morning. Oh, and I wrote an email. So it's 9 a.m. currently where I'm sitting. And those are the things I've done. 10 partnerships, 3 are confirmed with dates, made toast, went to the coffee shop, had a full-blown meeting with my controller, had a kind of hot seat meeting with my chief marketing officer, set up a bank wire, and arranged to make sure all the maintenance and all the things on our jet are ready to go because we are taking back off to Puerto Rico. Okay, so that's what I've done. Okay, so my priority focus, who's heard me talk about priority focus ever, put P for priority focus. I am telling, if you work for HeartCore or you are someone who watches us and you still do not have priority focus on your calendar, you are responsible for your lack. Okay, you are responsible for your lack. Not me, not another coach, not your spouse, not your brother, there are people watching right now that their children have cancer, that they have a parent dying, that they're being foreclosed on by the bank. All of that's happening right now, that you just got a diagnosis. And what's wild to me is it's usually those people who produce the results. Why? Because urgency gets forced into their life. It gets forced into their life to do something now. So I want to tell you something. This is a rainy day talk. There's a rainy day coming. And if you're not in a rainy day, Tony Robbins calls it winter is coming. He was saying winter was coming 3.5 years ago when I did the last zone event. He was saying, I remember meeting, there was 100 of us that met with him. And he was saying, winter is coming. Get your businesses ready. Winter is coming. Get your relationships. Everybody write down the word relationships right now. And you've heard me say this, but for God's sakes, it's unbelievable how many of you guys are still hanging out with people who have low income mindsets. Do you know what I mean? Like you cannot break free if your friends have low income mindsets. You cannot break free. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And they all hang out with each other. Right? I see it in network marketing. I see it in coaching. I see it in real estate. All the people work in the bullpen in real estate that are not hustling for their own leads, right? They could go to meetup.com and they could find investment groups or people like I did and go contribute to the investment group. Go find out what is the investment group educating, and then go to developers and ask the developers if they can satisfy the real estate investment group's desire and wants with a product deal that matches that. You will sell 20 freaking houses this month if you do that. But no, I don't know what to say to the investment group. Well, then be broke. Be broke. Be broke. Because here's what I want to tell you. I know I sound mad right now, but I am kind of mad. Because it's so exhausting to me to feel your exhaustion. You know what I mean? Like I just sit there and I'm like, I just have had it. And you should have had it. Do you know what I mean? Like you should have it with yourself. Because if you don't have prospecting on your list every single day, or you don't have relationships that you can lean on and grow up, then there's a problem. There's a problem, and you need to go look in the mirror and just own it. Right? Whenever something breaks in my life, I know how I'm responsible for it. It's the only way I keep my sanity. Because if I blame somebody else, guess what happens? I can't fix it. I can't fix it. But I'm telling you, you need to get sick and tired of this lack of urgency because you're worrying yourself right into the grave. And it doesn't need to be like that. So I don't care. So obviously I teach list building. I'm not teaching another class till January, but for God's sakes, I pushed on it for 10 months out of this year to help people. And there were still people who never made it a priority. And then I made it for like cheap. I made it for $49 for a few months. And people still bought it and didn't show up. I'm like, what the F? I'm like, you know why I can join a network marketing company and roll 9 people in a day? Because I have a list. I can go generate $25,000 in network marketing because I have a list. Do you know what I mean? I can go enroll if I want to raise capital for real estate. I could do it. I just be honest with my list. But yet so many people still didn't get the list building. And I'm not doing it again until January. And I'm raising the price because I keep realizing that it doesn't help to meet you where you're at. What helps is for you to rise up, to pay the ticket to get to Zone Event, to buy the freaking airline ticket, to go instead of room with somebody at the hotel because you only have $700 in your bank account. Why are you okay with $700 in your bank account? And I've been there. I just was not okay with it. I panicked. And then I got into action, and here's what I know for sure. You need people to create prosperity. Whether it's people in your network that you can partner with and rock it out with, and you take care of them as much as they take care of you, right? That's why having friends that compliment you are important. Like, you should be a huge contribution to your friends, not a desperate act of survival in your network. Hear what I'm saying? Like, your first thought should be, who can I contribute to? And I'm very well aware that some of you guys don't even know what contribution you are. Okay, so then make a list of people who inspire you. And you should put it on the wall, and you should commit to going to the events they speak at, joining their products, their programs, whatever you need to do. Because you know where I built my first set of people is through my coaches. I became their success stories. I didn't fight them. I showed up to every call. I never defaulted on a payment, even when I didn't have the money. I figured it out. And that's why I'm able to figure anything out. Like, I find myself saying this recently. I'm not saying you have to hire me, because I'm not saying that, but I'm saying don't hire me because I can create $1 million weekend. Don't do that. Because what if I've only done it once? Right? Don't hire me because of that. Because honestly, many of you guys don't even really know me. Right? It's like, don't hire me because of the accolades on Forbes magazine, or Success magazine has an article coming out about me about being a trailblazer, right? It's like, don't hire me because Inc. I've been on Inc. so many times, like being a top 5,000 or top 2,000. I don't even know what it was, but I have a plaque for it. I've never put it up on the wall. Like, I just don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't care about those things. You know what I care about? Can my kid run into the wall and get knocked down and get back up? Can my husband do that? Can you do that? Can I do that? That's why people should follow you. So if you're going through a hard time right now, congratulations. Because guess what that is? The reason why people will hire you. They will hire you because you get resourceful today, not tomorrow, I made a list of the things I did today, not because you came up with another perfect plan that you're never going to execute anyway, that sits in a drawer somewhere. When you're done, you feel all inspired and you tell everybody about it, and then you lose your credibility because you don't do anything about it. Like, let's stop already. Okay, so every single one of you that care about your future should go to meetup.com and find 50 freaking groups in your industry, and don't be attached to any of them saying yes to you, and go think about how to hook them up. Okay, because people will hire you. If you go hook them up, they're going to hire you. So I didn't know my first offer before I ever made it. I didn't know what I was coaching, delivering. I didn't know. So if you think that's an excuse to not succeed, no. Lack of courage is why you still won't pull the trigger and make an offer. So, and nobody can help you with that. You have to muster up the vision and the courage to jump off the high diving board and hope to God when you hit the water, you hit it straight down and not like this and get like, whatever it's called, the water burn, right? What is that called again, y'all? You know what I mean? Like where you belly flop, the arm flop. Like, you got to jump. And if somebody pushes you, guess what happens? You'll never jump again because you'll blame them that they pushed you and that's why it hurt. See, you guys, all your control is in your own hands. But I'm telling you, you're whether it's a good economy or a bad economy, there are people in your industry rocking it. Why not you? Okay, so I'm telling you, you already know that seasons are coming, right? They're coming. You have seasons where I had 14 years of up and then I had a year and a half of down, right? And all of the year and a half of down only took 6 months to put us in that position. Only took 6 months. And guess what the 6 months was? Leadership that didn't work. Okay, so now let's reverse engineer that. Leadership, right? You know, I love Barry from Sage Events because I can do a zone event with Barry and it feels like the easiest thing in the world to fill the room. It feels like every part of the event is clear because her roadmap going in and the meetings that she has are around budgets, swag, artwork, gifts, surprise and delight. But it starts with what are all the things that you want in the event? What's your dream list? Then she goes and maps out what the budget looks like and brings it back. And I have a shocking moment of all of my dreams and how much they actually cost. And this related to life. All of the dreams and how much they really cost. People are like, can't buy my oceanfront home because the prices of homes have gone up so much. Well, you know what? It felt that big before too. Just get in. You know what I mean? The longer you wait, the more expensive life gets, right? The longer you wait because inflation is happening. And now who knows what's going to happen with money and currency and what that looks like. And then, gosh, it's so uncertain because if you would have went into cryptocurrency, it got hit and dumped, right? Like, it's like, where do you go? Because everything feels so uncertain. Well, the only thing you can control is your leadership. And when your leadership becomes resourceful and you focus on the right things, there are a million things in my business that need my attention right now. And there's only one that's really getting my attention. And that's Zone Event, right? That's literally, I have a whole day mapped out next Tuesday that is mapped out around Mentor Me Live. And then I have the next day mapped out for all to review all zone content. And then I have a deadline, finally, a deadline set up where I have to turn in all that information so that it's in completion energy. And what do you think will happen to my bandwidth? It will grow again because that will be done and complete. And so I don't know any business that makes money without people. I don't know any business that ever knew for certain that their products would sell when they opened the doors. That takes courage. I don't know anybody who knew for sure they felt confident about their pricing strategy until they just did it. It took courage. So all the stuff that you're still thinking about, you're in a courage conversation. I'd recommend that you don't let the next hour go by in your life and not having a decision on that. Now let's talk about what you should be focused on today. I'm going to end the live on this because really you need to get to work. You don't need to sit there and watch me. You need to get to work. And so I'm going to recommend you hit the ground running and you at least spend an hour prospecting today. That prospecting could be meetup.com. It could be Facebook groups. Well, Shannon, I don't know what to say. Just freaking say something, anything. If you get no's, then guess what? Change what you're saying. Be like, ask them, is there a reason why you don't want me to come to contribute? Just let me know. I'm just curious. And they'll tell you. Have enough courage, again, to ask these questions, and they'll tell you, and you'll know what you're doing wrong in your communication, which is your leadership, right? So here's how I would handle it. Hi, Meetup group leader, or hi, Facebook group leader. I see that you're educating people on entrepreneurship. I see that you're educating people around weight loss. I see that you're educating people around parenting. And my question is, do you ever bring in outside speakers to contribute content to your group? Leave it. They will respond back. When they say yes, because they do. When they say yes, you say, just like me in the real estate investment groups. What is it that you're educating them on? And where do you think that they might have a gap in? And they tell you. Then you come up with an idea on a talk, a mini course, a something that you can contribute. Now you're not like, okay, Shanda, I'm going to come into your group and drop an offer. That's not how you're operating. You're operating first on, can you find an agreement and alignment around content that will help lift their group's engagement, right? Lift their group's loyalty, lift their group's, love, lift the group in their success in a certain area that you can help in. Once you get a yes on that, I want you to go design the content for it. When you design the content, ask yourself, what can I give them? A PDF, a something downloadable that if they did it, it would help whatever it is that you're speaking about. Make sense? You get what I'm saying? Just ask. You'll come up with a resourceful answer. Ask. It's just contribution. What could you give? Now you can take that give and you can either do one of two things. If you have no virtual assistants or no ability to set up a registration page, then just drop your email. Just drop your email me at this email and let me know that you want this PDF, or let me know that, what do you think is going to happen at that point? You have connection and engagement. Okay. Then you can take it from there, right? Take it from there, connect with the person emailing, go back and forth, ask some personal questions, get on a phone call, make an offer. Right. And so if you have something behind a registration page, then you just drop a link to the registration page. And when you drop a link to the registration page, now you can follow up with those people. If you're coming to Zone Event, we will show you how to convert something like that into a paying offer immediately. Okay. It's our funnel building workshop. It's going to be the day before Zone Event, right? Who's coming to Zone Event? I know I always ask because I just love to see it. I just love to see just who's coming. Put the word zone in the chat, right? So Jonathan's going like this. So you get what I'm saying? I'm telling you the word epic. You're going to be hooked up at a level that you've never seen before at any 3-day event. Okay. It's going to be epic, but it also, pertaining to what we just talked about right here, you will know what do you do to keep converting them while you're sleeping. And that's really important. It's one part heart, another part hustle. It's one part heart and another part hustle, but you need to know what to do on the hustle, just like what to do to talk to a meetup group or a Facebook group. So my challenge to you today is, I'm not going to sit here and keep talking, because if you worked for my company, I would be done with this meeting because it's already been 30 minutes and I would have been done 15 minutes ago. And I would say in 2 hours, I'll meet you and you will have reached out to at least 30 people. I have a goal for you today. Reach out to 50, figure it out. You reach out to 50, you know what you're going to do tomorrow when you come on Shanda On Demand, which is the last one of the month. I won't be back till next month because I take the last week of the month off, right? I won't be back till October 1st. And so, which is Halloween month, and then it's Thanksgiving month, and then it's Christmas month, and then it's ski season, right? So, but my point is that I would have you go do that, and I'd talk to you in about 2 hours from now. And I would see that you did it or didn't do it. So if you keep letting the weeds get in the way, you won't win. But if you put prospecting as your number one thing, you will win, right? If you're in network marketing, you have a great situation. You don't have to worry about the product. If you work for Hardcore Business or you work for somebody else, you do sales, you're in a great position. You don't have to worry about the product fulfillment or the cost, right? You're an entrepreneur and you do have to worry about the product fulfillment and the cost. It's just the landscape. That's how it works, right? So, but if you don't discipline yourself to focus on prospecting, you'll be out of business. And I'm certain that you'll be out of business soon because I know what's happening with AI. Okay. Right now I have a friend, Billie Jean, who just had 62 sets, a setter with artificial intelligence, 62 in one day. No emotion. No, I don't want to prospect. I mean, you guys have that, right? Imagine now hiring people, right? It's wild, right? Executive assistants, AI's already gone there. They're booking your calendar correctly. They're wild, right? It's coming. And it's not coming like in a year from now. It's here. Just because you don't know all the things getting replaced because you don't know how to do it yet, it's happening, right? You now have McDonald's that are fully automated in the US of A. Okay, fully automated, nobody working there anymore. Okay, so whether you like this Android world or not, it's here. And so what are you going to do with your leadership? Because your leadership is the only thing that's going to save you. And I don't mean to be a doomsday, but it really is. It always was, by the way, even before AI. The only reason why somebody doesn't have a good bank account, you might be a hard worker and you might be smart as shit. But the truth is if you don't think like me, you ain't going to make it. And I'm going to be as bold as to say that. And I see it all the time, right? I guarantee you I've outproduced the majority of people watching right now. And I wasn't even on high alert to produce, right? I built myself into that because I wasted a lot of days at Starbucks wishing and hoping and planning and searching and wondering, what should I do? I just don't do that anymore. I don't overthink anything anymore. I just, fire, then aim, and then get ready. That's literally how I work it. It's like, go, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'll figure out what happens. I don't know what I'm going to say when I talk to this person. Whatever, just figure it out. I've found if my heart is in contribution to help other people, I've made a lot of money. Okay, and will continue to. So there isn't any bad situation that can take you out if your leadership can actually sustain. All right, you guys, is this helpful? I know it was a bit of an unleashing, but I just felt like it needed to happen because I feel like urgency is just lacking so badly out in the world. It doesn't need to be. And so I challenge you today, 50 meetup groups or Facebook groups, even if you don't know what to say, all you're asking is if they bring in outside speakers to contribute to the content. When they say yes, you ask them, what are you educating them on or what's missing in the group that you want more of? And then you suggest something that you can contribute and then you book it. Then when you book it, you think, what can I add for a downloadable, or just give your email to give something to them. And you ask them, would it be okay, Samantha, if I'm going to train on this topic or do a talk on this or share my life experience in this, would it be okay if I gave them my email to get this Word doc that I have? They're going to say yes. Or I give them this downloadable PDF. Would that be okay? They're going to say yes. Okay. And now you have lead gen. Now, if you're coming to Zone, we'll show you how to convert that into buyers while you sleep. And that is a blessing because many of you guys are not great at sales and many of you guys are good at sales and you need more qualified people. We can show you how to build a freedom funnel that will bring you more qualified people, or if you suck at sales, have a qualified person that makes it easier to enroll because they actually already want what it is that you have. So you don't even have to be good at enrollment at that point. You just have to be a good human. Okay. And so, which is awesome, in my opinion, that you can make $1 million a year and not have to be great at marketing or great at sales. The reason why people don't do it is they lack hustle. And then there's all these people out there saying, oh, I hate the hustle. It's like, well, then it's a contradiction to say that you want that and you hate the hustle. It's a contradiction because you don't get that without it. Nobody got there. Not Jenna Kutcher, not Amy Porterfield, not, Chalene Johnson. It doesn't matter where they are today. You always have to watch the speaker and where are they today, right? When I exit from the next company and we bring in all of those millions of dollars, do you think my character is going to change? Yes. And so my advice is going to change. And you better pay attention to where my life is, because my education will start speaking to a different group of people. And you have to pay attention to that. You guys have to be what the Bible says, discerning. And no, I love Chalene Johnson. She's one of my favorite people, right? And she's sold multiple companies and she's traveling around the world as a nomad right now with her husband. I think they might be back in California, but super, super smart, knows what she's doing, and she's set her life up. So balance, kids, husband, all of that. I mean, I don't know how old she is, but she's in that season. She's had a father-in-law with Alzheimer's. You got to pay attention to these things. I don't coach with people who are not married. I just don't. And the reason why I don't is because I have somebody to consider in my life, right? I have my husband to consider. I have my kid to consider. It's different, right? So, not saying all people who are married don't consider their wives or husbands, because they don't. There are some people who are married that don't consider them and they work 7 days a week, right? But that's not okay with me, because I do have a kid and I do have a husband, and I don't want that to break up because I don't have any connection there, right? And so I coach with people who are I also coach with people who are faith-based. Like I've coached with Joe Marion. He's a Christian, right? Sold his company for a lot of cash, right? He'll never build another company, he said. I'll never build another company. He goes, I'll only go to people who already have established companies, take equity and coach them. Why? Well, his partner, Dan Fleischman, who some of you guys have seen me bring on sometimes, he's the same way. I want somebody who's got a $3 million business or above. Why? Because he knows you can get up off the middle of the floor. If you're not at $3 million yet, you're still not getting up off the middle of the living room floor. You are still not getting up off the middle of the living room floor. There are emotional triggers that are getting you throughout the day that are literally preventing you from being urgent. And so what it looks like is busy. So I'm going to put a challenge to you today. 50 groups, reach out to them imperfectly, messily, not knowing, not even knowing if you're a good fit. Reach out to them and let that be a day that what's going to happen is tomorrow that's going to belly up. And when that bellies up, you're going to be in a position where you're like, shoot, I could have been responsible all this time to create revenue if I would have just prioritized prospecting. All right, my friends, I'm sending you so much love today. Instagram, thanks for hanging with me today. I'm going to send you guys off to the ethers and have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. And you guys on social, everywhere else, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever it is that you are, thank you for tuning in. Honestly, this show would be nothing without you. And I really appreciate your contribution. I appreciate your ear, your willingness to tune in and to allow me to speak into your life. I could do this all day long because I really do care about your businesses and I love building businesses. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with God and I'm obsessed with making money, especially if it's going for good things. So I just love it. I love geeking out on your funnels. I love geeking out on how you can create more revenue. I love geeking out on how you can grow your membership sites. I love it. Like I absolutely love it. So you guys showing up here Monday through Friday, the first 3 weeks of the month is truly a great contribution to my life. So thank you as much as hopefully I'm contributing to your life. You are also contributing to mine, but nothing makes me happier than when I get a tag on Instagram or somewhere where somebody's sharing a story that they did. So they took the coaching today on Shanda On Demand and literally went and made 50 joint venture partnership prospects today. I mean, there's nothing that would make me happier. Like, even if you never hired me, I would be so thrilled to find out that you are now at a 50 reach outs today, that you're in a position where maybe 5 of them said yes. And those 5 might have 10,000, 15,000, 100,000, a million people in a group that literally you now are influencing. Why not you? I'll tell you why not. Because you didn't take the coaching today. If you take the coaching, I'm certain it will be you. You will shake in your booties if that's what it takes to be able to speak in front of those people. But you will have an audience at the end of today if you do what I said to do. All right, you guys, I'll see you one more day tomorrow on the On Demand Mastermind and the Shanda On Demand. Social media is Shanda On Demand. On Demand is people on Zoom. Jonathan, if people are watching us on social and they want to join the On Demand Mastermind, which will start back up on November 1st, how do they do that?
GetGoodCoaching.com.
GetGoodCoaching.com. GetGoodCoaching.com. So if you're watching us on social media right now and you want to join us, it's a very, very nominal fee. It's like, I don't know, maybe a week's worth of coffees to be able to go where I'm going next, which is literally diving in with the On Demand Mastermind and asking questions, and they can ask me questions to be able to create the results that they want. So if you go to GetGoodCoaching.com, you'll be able to join me maybe in 10 minutes from now, or you'll definitely be able to join me tomorrow on the Zoom after the live. All right, you guys, God bless.